Would you, could you?
Would you, could you believe it now? A podcast about strange journeys, hidden truths, and wild beliefs. With Sami
and Rob.
We have a member request who requested that we cover the bugs from Men in Black. But since those are fictional, we are going to cover accounts of insectoids that people have encountered, either during abductions or any other kind of encounters. Specifically, we are going to cover the ant people from Hopi beliefs and culture and mantis beings. Because there's a lot of accounts with mantis beings. They look like praying mantis. Like our little friend here. Got a little hair on him.
We do have a little hairy mantis here. So there's been a progression. I mean, over the years, there's been people more and more.
Don't jump in. I want to talk about, this was a member request. If you want to be a member, you can sign up on YouTube, on our channel, to be a member. It's, I forget the price, but it'll say on there. It's not that much. But you get early access to videos a day early, and you get to make a special request for a topic that you want us to cover. Just leave a comment. It'll show us that you're a member, and we'll cover that next. Well, in the order that we receive them. But yeah, sign up. You get extra perks.
Any topic at all.
Well, within reason. Within the scope and the theme of the show.
Strictly
Rob.
80s Billy Joel. That's all we play. Good Step Brothers reference. Just trying to get Sami a little frustrated before we dip into this, so don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and whatever else you do on this platform. We would love it. So let's dive in.
Okay. You can skip leaving hateful comments, though.
You can skip that. We have bots that take them off anyway, so.
No, we don't.
Come on. We're trying to run this.
Why would we? It's illegal. Why would you say we have bots? We don't have bots.
We're bots.
I'm the bot. I'll delete them. Don't be hateful.
All right.
I don't need to tolerate abuse.
All right. So
I'm going to absolutely delete your comment.
I'm going to give an overview of mantis beings first. And
hang on.
Me and Sami were talking.
No. Okay. See,
me and Sami
I
were
said he could take
today.
lead, which is why I have to keep interjecting here. No. You can take lead on some of this, but you got to stick with the format. Our format is could you believe it now? Okay. We're just doing a studio version today. We're not going out on a hike. Although some of the pictures we took on last week's hike will apply, which is cool, of the petroglyphs. Since we're talking about ant people.
Pretty cool.
So that's cool. But you got to stick with our format. So we need to talk about where we currently stand on these beliefs.
So where do you stand, Sami? Where do you stand on these beliefs?
Which one?
Mantis beings.
Okay, on mantis beings, I've already done a lot of my own research on them over the years because they're interesting to me.
Answer the question. Okay.
Well, there's skepticism, of course. However, I think it's interesting. I kind of stay neutral because I don't think it's fair to dismiss the accounts from abductees. I don't think that's very kind. And a lot of these encounters, we don't really know how to categorize them or describe them. So a lot of people say, oh, that was just a dream. That was nothing. But was it really? How do we know? I don't think we have a good scientific explanation for what dreams are and what really goes on and what constitutes an actual reality of a state versus a non-reality. So I keep pretty open-minded. That said, I don't know what they are. I believe people's stories, for sure.
So on a scale of 1 to mantis, where are you right now?
I definitely lean, I think something is happening with them.
Are you like an 8?
I can't it depends.
So
this isn't an easy thing because it depends. There's the way they're presented in lore or in individual accounts, and then there's the way they might actually be. And I don't know that those two things, I don't know where.
More likely than not?
I think there's something real occurring. Yes. I don't think this many people are just making things up. No. I think something's real. Something real is absolutely going on. Do I think that we have a solid understanding of what that is? No.
Cool.
No. And I think you can have an experience and still not understand what happened, even in your own experience.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. Mm-hmm. That was really helpful, and it seems like you've done a lot of research towards the topic.
Yes, I have.
I'll throw in my 2 cents.
Yeah, where do you stand?
No one's asking me, but
I am. I just did.
I would say initially I was very skeptical, but after doing some research and hearing some accounts, I mean, we watch a lot of alien TV, right? So
yeah, we've heard about them.
we've heard about them.
It's not unfamiliar.
Honestly, it was still kind of weird, though. I was like, what is this?
Yeah, I'm talking about giant bugs.
Well, because, yeah. But where I stand, I'd say more likely than not. I believe it more likely than not just because of all of the sightings. I mean, it's very specific, the way that mantis beings or mantid beings, whatever you want to call it, are portrayed. And it seems that, you think of like the Greys and stuff, and I'm like, okay, all right, it's just another alien, whatever. But this is different. This is specific.
For skeptics out there, I just would like to say, before I ever started looking into this stuff, I didn't believe in any of it at all. Like, I would have been like, if you had asked me a few years ago, I would have said, yeah, aliens are probably real, or extraterrestrials are probably real in general. But if you started saying, oh, what about the Greys? I'd probably be like, I don't know, maybe. Right. But if you started talking about insectoids and mantis beings, I'd probably been like,
you're like, what the hell is that, a praying mantis?
So that to say, it took education for me to get to a point of, oh, okay.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Now I'm like, hey, there's something here. And I don't understand it, but there's something.
Before I start rattling off all different types of, beings and insectoids and all that, I think it's really important for us to keep an open mind on things. I mean, we were just talking about this a couple hours ago, that it's our brains and like the way we're wired, we definitely want to categorize things and say like, okay, this is what they do, or, oh, there's this type. And, just, we have to, as human beings, have some kind of understanding on what something is. And if we don't have that understanding, we're extremely uncomfortable and we feel not like we're not safe. We really don't understand.
Well, we also tend to force things into our own constraints on reality. So what we can conceptualize, what we can understand, we tend to force everything into that viewpoint rather than expand our viewpoint to be able to hold what reality might be. That's really challenging for a lot of people. So when you do have an encounter that is, so far outside of your scope of what you thought reality is, it's difficult to talk about. It's even difficult to formulate a memory and hang on to it, let alone understand it. Mm-hmm. So I think that is really important with this too, because I will say that I've had what I would call a dream-like experience with aliens and insectoid-looking things, like our little guy right here. But I maybe now I don't know what it was, but at the time I was like, oh, whatever, just a weird dream, just a weird dream. Was it? What's a dream? What's happening there? We don't know. We can't define consciousness. We don't know what consciousness is. What's going on in dreams? Is it real? And certainly after looking into more of the indigenous beliefs and their thoughts on dreams, there's not much of a difference between your waking reality and your dream reality. And what one person says about, oh, you had a dream about a mantis being, they don't necessarily think it was just a dream. So just putting that out there, there's different beliefs on what actually occurs and whether it's real or not. And I'm, again, neutral on that, I'd say. Like, I can understand why there's people that believe dreams are just nothing and make believe because that's the way it's been presented to us. But then I also understand why people are like, you sure about that? No, I'm not sure about that.
Right.
I'm not sure about that.
So with that being said, that little disclaimer, I just want to talk about mantis beings, some common traits, and then also some notable encounters that people have seen that you could be like, okay, maybe. You know.
Should we start with Mantis or should we start with Hopi?
We can start with Hopi if you want.
I think just because it kind of ticks off from where we left off last time.
Let's do Hopi first.
And
Hopi first.
I think there might possibly be a little
Ladies
overlap
first.
with them. Okay. So then we're going to start off with the ant people. So what do you know right now about the Hopi and the ant people?
I know that the Hopi thought that ant people were helping them, it seemed like, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they were helping them, and I believe that they may have been linked to like underground living as well, where they actually like brought people down into the earth to help them survive.
And we know some of this from last week's episode too.
And I think that's tied to Anunnaki, right?
We'll get into
Allegedly.
that.
Okay.
We'll get into that. Before you did this research, did you have any conception of ant people?
Ant people, I mean, Paul Rudd.
Ant-Man.
that movie that no one watched, and then they made like 5 of them.
Yeah.
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 That's all I know. I mean, I saw Ants. I think that was like, what,
Ants.
1995? Billy Crystal,
Yeah.
Sylvester Stallone. There's
I-
some notable female actors that I'm forgetting.
Mm-hmm. In 3 seconds, he's going to ask me to cut this part out.
I am.
Yeah.
So, no, I didn't know. I don't know anything about that, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So before you knew this, if I had been like, hey, do you think that there's such a thing as an ant being, like a human ant hybrid creature that lives underground, what would you have said?
F no. I would have been like, okay, maybe reptilian, maybe.
Before you did the research on reptilians?
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's weird. They just tell you that it's like the Earth's crust and the core, and don't go down there. And
We can't get
we
down
don't know what's in
there.
the ocean.
Yeah.
So it's unless we've searched the whole Earth 100% inside and out,
We don't know.
no one's right about anything.
And if you didn't yourself search the whole earth, you have to take someone else's word for it too.
It's kind of like that if a tree fell in the woods type thing.
Oh, don't.
No?
You don't want to get me started on that. We need a whole episode for that concept alone. And we will.
Yeah.
Possibly the next one. Because we're going to get into plant consciousness. The plant can hear itself falling in the woods. I just gotta.
Can we
Okay,
get-
don't. I told you not to say it.
Can we get through
Okay,
episode
okay. So, skeptical.
Tell
Used
us
to be
about the
skeptical.
Hopi people.
Now I've learned things, and now I'm like,
Tell us about
Okay,
the
the
ant
Hopi
people.
people.
I'll
So-
tell you about the mantid people.
the Hopi have a belief. So the Hopi were like Southwest indigenous group. So it's like Utah, Southern Utah, Arizona, New Mexico, down into Mexico. And they still have land around here. And there's a lot of crossover with the Paiute too. And I do believe there's also smaller segments of different names. Just Hopi is kind of like a general term. So, but the petroglyphs that we saw last week, those depictions where they have some depictions of, I guess like they look like people, but they're not quite right. And of course the white version of that story is, oh, they were just drawing make-believe. That's so cute. And it's really condescending, so I don't like that. But they say that, no, these were drawings of like a blend of their ancestors, but also spirits and guides. And they specifically talk about ant people who came up out of the ground, like Rob, and he kind of mentioned it before, that they came up out of the ground and they helped out the ancestors during a time of cataclysm. So weather was awful, threatening everyone's survival. They didn't know what to do. And then these creatures looking like bugs come up out of the ground and like, hey, come on, I'll help you. And they bring them underground and they teach them how to live under the ground. They teach them how to plant a lot of food. And then when they returned them back to the surface once it was safe again and taught them how to live better on the surface too. And so they credit a lot of their indigenous ways to the ant people. And so, yes, if you've ever watched Ancient Aliens, then you've probably seen the hair, and heard that Anu means ant in both Sumer, like ancient Sumeria, and like the ancient Hopi languages, and that Naki means friend. But I was trying to look it up if it means friend in both Sumer and Hopi, and I got only Nu, like Nu is friend in Hopi languages.
Okay.
But the idea is that, it's so weird that you have the Anunnaki, which is a term from the ancient Sumerian, from the text, I think it was the Book of Enoch, which is a real ancient text that was originally thought to be part of the Bible, but was omitted in the ancient, like, Judeo assembly of the Bible. And then, as you know, that's been edited severely over the...
Do you know where they found it?
Yeah. Middle East. Everything comes out of the Middle East. Yeah. I don't know exactly. I'd have to look it up. But I don't want to get too sidetracked.
Okay.
Because, again, Book of Enoch could be a whole episode, which we should do. Because I don't know a ton about it, and I would like to know more.
We should go off for 8 hours on stuff.
We don't have
Totally
battery
unmedicated.
life to do.
Yeah.
Skip the ADHD meds.
Yeah. Just it might be the best thing ever made.
Might be the most illogical, nonsensical thing. I doubt anyone else will be able to follow it.
It's like every song Pink Floyd makes. It's like, okay, yeah, the song really slaps at like 9 minutes and 87 seconds.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna keep going. So there's belief that what the ancient Sumerian people were talking about with the Anunnaki and what the Hopi are talking about with the ant people are the same thing, because they have this crossover word. I don't know. Maybe it is interesting that they both have ant-like depictions.
Mm-hmm.
I guess sneeze.
Just making it harder for yourself to edit.
It is interesting that they have similar depictions, but I'm pretty sure the Anunnaki, they come from the sky, not the ground, and the ant people come from the ground. So there's also some discrepancies. So.
Allegedly.
I don't know. I'll say sometimes ancient aliens make some leaps in there.
Some really good leaps.
Not that that doesn't mean all the information is bad, and some of it's they definitely present really interesting information, but sometimes conclusions are jumped to. So you want to watch over that. It's interesting, doesn't make it true, but it's interesting. It is a thing. So I don't know if they're related to the Anunnaki. I don't think anyone really knows. Some people believe that. That's fine. I'm neutral. Okay, so, but the word for it's Anu Sinam, if I'm saying it right, is Hopi for ant people. That's their word. And then Kiva is coming up again. So that was, remember we talked about in last week's episode, they had like, Kiva is thought to be a hole in the ground where their ancestors and spirits can pass through from the spirit world up into our 3D material world. And the Kiva, they would create these dwellings where they made a Kiva, and then they would have rituals and ceremonies and allow the ancestors and spirits to pass through. And they see them as them, and they consider the ant people part of their ancestry. Like, these are part of, there's like a cohesion here, possibly lineage. But now it really comes down to the depictions. So, and we have pictures that we took, so we can absolutely put these in here, but I'm going to show you some right now.
Pictures of the ant people.
Yeah, so they can look like this. We'll include what pictures we can. Oh yeah, right here. We saw pictures that look just like this.
Oh yeah. The thing also looks like it has a tail too on one of them that we took.
Possibly. Like, it's hard to tell.
Its legs look like split wide, and then it has like a little thing in the middle of it, like a tail or something. So,
but it's really hard for us to know. And again, it's difficult because it's not for us to know. As we said, closed practices for the protection and preservation of their culture from people who would try to destroy the culture, who have actively been trying to destroy the culture for a long time. So that's why they're private about it, and they should keep doing that. So it's not really for us to understand, but in the context of where this idea of bug-like aliens come from, again, it goes really far back. And ancient civilizations have been talking about this humanity, I should say, has been talking about this for a really long time. again, what I think is interesting is when we have more than one ancient culture talking about this at a time when, once again, quote, they did not have communication with one another. So ancient Sumerians, these Hopi, ancient Egyptians, maybe the Sumerians and the Egyptians might have had some crossover, but the Hopi haven't crossed over kind of land-wise, being pretty far away, and they have really similar depictions and myth.
Yep.
Myth? I don't know. Why does this relate to mantis beings? Mostly because they're more modern depictions, I guess, of bug encounters.
So mantis beings.
Yes.
So when we talk about these things, they're about 6 to 7 feet tall, maybe 8 feet tall. And then typically they're seen as you're waking up. They're not really as much of in a dream state as the waking up state, but it could be both. Could be either one.
Wait, so you're more likely to see them in a sleep state, some kind of a sleep state, or associated with sleep?
Kind of like as you're waking up.
That's what most of the descriptions have been like.
That's what most of the descriptions say, yeah.
So kind of like mine.
Kind of.
When I was like half awake, half asleep.
I mean, I also saw something pretty tall one day.
You did.
One night, yeah.
Sleep paralysis.
It was sleep paralysis. They say it can happen sometimes with these ones, but yeah, sleep paralysis. I'm sleeping on my back, not getting enough oxygen.
I'm curious what the official definition of sleep paralysis is. Let's ask.
This is you're getting off topic.
No, it's just an off topic because this is what people say if someone has a weird dream-like experience where they saw a being. There's just a lot of depictions like that. And with mantis beings too. Oh, a mantis being walked into my room and I was awake. And people are like, oh, that sounds like sleep paralysis. Okay, but what is sleep paralysis? Now, I know in general that it's when we sleep, our bodies kind of go into paralysis, with the exception of our diaphragms and our eyes. That's why you get rapid eye movement. But the rest of your body goes into a paralyzed state, so you don't act out your dreams. Because if you acted out your dream, you could hurt some people.
So we're going to talk about sleep paralysis for the rest of the episode?
But when people say, oh, it was just sleep paralysis, they reduce it down as if saying, oh, it's just sleep paralysis means, oh, it's not a big deal, just ignore that experience. Hold on, though. So we understand, okay, so your body is still paralyzed and you're kind of waking up before your body's woken up and you feel paralyzed, but you're waking up before your body has woken up is one explanation. I'll fact check it, but do you see where my problem is with people trying to say, oh, it was just sleep paralysis? The waking part, you're part conscious and you're seeing shit in the room? What? Why are we dismissing that? That sounds like we should look into that a lot more. That's my point. To people that are like, oh, you saw a mantis being in your room, it was just sleep paralysis. Hang on a second. What is sleep paralysis? I want an official definition. I'm asking ChatGPT, scholar.
That's a category in there?
Mm-hmm. It searches scholarly articles.
You ever see the one that's called like Sora or something on there?
There's a lot.
Turns into a video.
It's going to take a second, so if you have something to say.
Well, I mean, I was just saying before you interrupted that it was one night, middle of the night, I'm waking up and I'm having sleep paralysis, can't move, it's dark, but I can see the whole room. I could describe like everything that's in the room to a T, like if you asked me, and then all of a sudden this thing is like right next to me, like hovering. It's kind of just like looming.
Was it a mantis being?
So here's the thing, it was in my peripheral.
Oh, so you don't know.
So I don't know, and I don't know if I'll ever know, but it was definitely tall. In the hotel we were in when this happened.
Oh, that night.
Was like incredibly high ceilings. And it like fit the being like perfect. Like if it was any other hotel, that being would have been like.
From my point of view of that night, I just heard him going, and I just rolled over and like shook him. I'm like, you're fine. Like, I'm just thinking it's a
Well, because
nightmare.
it's just like an
And then-
ominous figure that like pops out of nowhere.
It was
and,
something
like, I'm
scary,
awake.
yeah.
You know, like I'm awake, but I'm
And I think you were on
sleeping.
your back,
I was definitely
Yeah.
on my back.
But I couldn't say if his eyes were open or not or anything.
My eyes were open.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you if they were. I
Yeah,
don't know.
whatever. You were passed out for once. So.
I was sleeping, yeah.
But yeah,
Usually
I
I'm
couldn't
the
tell.
one
Like
waking
it
up
just
having
seemed
weird
like a
dreams.
really just like tall, I would say 7 or 8 feet figure that was there, and it definitely seemed cloaked. I feel like it had like a black or some kind of like garment on it, and it was just like looming. And what happens all the time is I just get so freaked out that I pass back out after screaming internally. And then you usually hit me in the face.
We have the scientific explanation. You want to hear it?
What a rip.
Okay. Sleep paralysis is a transient condition characterized by the inability to move or speak while falling asleep or waking up.
Mm-hmm.
Though not typically dangerous, it is often accompanied by intense fear and vivid hallucinations, which can feel profoundly real to the experiencer.
Oh, yeah.
So, scientific understanding. Sleep paralysis occurs during transitions into or out of rapid eye movement.
Which is
REM
when
sleep.
people see these.
Yes.
Keep going.
Yeah, exactly. The phase where most dreaming takes place. During REM, the body naturally undergoes muscle atonia, temporary paralysis, like what I was saying, to prevent acting out dreams. In sleep paralysis, the brain wakes up cognitively, but the body remains immobile, causing a disconnect that can last for seconds to several minutes. Physiologically, it's considered a type of parasomnia and is often associated with sleep deprivation, irregular sleep cycles, stress and anxiety, sleep-related disorders like narcolepsy. Some researchers, like Betancourt 2022, argue that SP, sleep paralysis, results from an overlap of REM sleep and wakefulness, sometimes leading to hypnagogic, falling asleep, or hypnopompic, waking up hallucinations. These hallucinations often involve intruders, pressure on the chest, or out-of-body
Ooh,
experiences.
so I've had both of those. Hypnopompic and what's the other one? Hypnagogic.
Hypnagogic. So hypnagogic is where you're falling asleep, but you're not fully asleep. You're kind of like hovering in this between. And that's where I get to a hypnagogic state through meditation a lot. And that's where I guess a lot of information.
A lot of mine is when I wake up.
So hypnopompic. I have that too.
Hypnopompous.
Hypnopompic.
Hypnopompous
Yeah.
asshole.
But there's different interpretations. So that's what the modern materialists have to say about it. Okay.
Okay.
And I'm not going, there's a lot of people that'll take that and be like, oh, that must be it then. That must be it. It is one interpretation. It is one idea about what it is. Neutral. Cultural interpretations. The phenomenon is universal but culturally interpreted in diverse ways. In Egypt, it is often attributed to jinn spirits from the jinn from Islamic tradition. I've heard of the jinn before. In Japan, it is referred to as kanashibari, believed to be caused by vengeful spirits. In Newfoundland, it is described as the old hag phenomenon. We've heard that too. These cultural frames influence how individuals interpret their experiences and whether they view them as medical, supernatural, or spiritual. There's research and treatment. So, though generally benign, recurrent isolated sleep paralysis can be distressing. Yeah, it's scary. I've had it before. It's not good. You can improve your sleep hygiene. You could do cognitive behavioral therapy. In severe cases, antidepressants may help regulate REM sleep. So, and just to wrap it up here, sleep paralysis is a profound example of the intersection between neurophysiology and cultural experience, offering insights into both brain function and human interpretation. Okay. So, and I like that they did kind of go into it more, but again, my issue with this explanation and the way people tend to go to this explanation is void of the understanding of what consciousness is. Nowhere in here does this say what our consciousness is and what's the difference between our consciousness when it's awake versus asleep. What's going on there? We don't know. I need everyone to really understand that we don't know how to clearly define consciousness. We don't know what it is or where it comes from. We want to say it's the brain, but we don't know. They don't know. Researchers don't know. This is still something that they're deeply trying to find out. And so while it is tempting because it's the way it's presented to a lot of Western modern societies, that materialism and science that's for sure the thing. When we don't know what consciousness is, we don't know what's happening with dreams. We don't know what that is. And so we don't know what this is. We might be able to understand the specific mechanisms behind what's unfolding in the body.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of its meaning, we don't know. And the reason I defend this so heavily is because some of my experiences with dreams have been in a sleep paralysis like state, where a lot of people would say, oh, that kind of sounds like sleep paralysis. But guess what? These dreams were precognitive. So what do you do there?
And also,
that stuff came true. It happened.
I
was predictive.
will also add, I was going to say, if you're skeptical, you'll say, okay, well, maybe the person who's having this experience has a certain medical history or background that's attributing to this type of experience. So,
but that's still based off of the same.
Like, I had sleep apnea, right?
Mm-hmm.
I had sleep apnea, and my doctor was like, you don't have sleep apnea at first. The medical system is really good here in the United
But you did
States.
have sleep apnea.
So they were like, hey, I'm falling asleep in the car while driving. And they were like, oh, well, if that's the case, then we can test you for sleep apnea, because otherwise you have to be obese, old, or, I don't know what the third one was.
They waited till it got so bad he was falling asleep.
Well, the third one was if you're falling asleep in the car and, just falling asleep anywhere.
That's because of insurance. They wouldn't justify the test for it.
So I got surgery on my nose, not a nose job, which is
my album
that just came out. But I got this fixed, my septum. It was a septoplasty and an adenoidectomy, so they shaved down my adenoids, and I was able to sleep a lot better. But I was still having experiences like that. I was still having sleep apnea.
Because again, they
sleep paralysis.
Think it's associated with sleep deprivation, irregular sleep cycle, stress and anxiety, sleep related. I've had like really traditional sleep paralysis. Like I had a sleep paralysis where I was having a dream. Like this is the first time I had it that I like knew what it was. And it was in high school, and I had fallen asleep flat on my back. My head wasn't even on my pillow. And I'd had a dream that I was underwater or something, and I was trying to get to the surface, and I couldn't quite get to the surface. And then I wake up, my eyes are open, and I'm just like, I can't take a breath. Mm-hmm. Like, I feel like I can't breathe, and I'm just like, oh my gosh. Now, that was, like that's the pressure on the chest. Like, I can't breathe. But I didn't see anything or feel like anyone was in the room. I just felt like, oh my God, I'm dying. Like, like, I don't know what's happening. And then I but I'm fully awake. Where some of these other experiences are more like the hypnagogic state, which some people want to say is part of the sleep paralysis experience, but I'm like, but it wasn't like that. So to me, I have different categories personally for them. Those are two wildly different experiences, so I categorize them differently. A lot of people want to put them in this pile here of, oh, it's all under sleep paralysis, but at what point do we use human experience to better define these things? And why, this is my thing too, when it comes to issues regarding or topics regarding extraterrestrials, aliens, UFO sightings, and human experience, this is one of the few areas where we really want to scrap the whole human experience. Mainstream like science, in any other case, like you can put people away in prison based off of a human experience of another person. Right? Oh, I had a negative experience of someone assaulting me. Prison. Well, sometimes. Depends. But, okay, there are full-blown convictions based on people's eyewitness testimonies and their experiences that they saw. But then when it comes to something like this, it doesn't count. No, it's just sleep paralysis. It's nothing. It's just a physiological response. Was someone assaulting me technically a physiological response too? If I hit them back, it's also a physiological response.
I'll be slapping you in my dream state. I would get one too where I'm like got something on my chest, or I feel like I got something on my chest, and I feel like there's like all these like little people
Really? I've never had that, but that's interesting.
like in the room. I feel like they're in the room because I was in college
Yeah.
where we met. Harvard. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Sammy couldn't get
You
in
have to pay
there
me to go to Harvard.
actually.
I'm not paying money for that.
So yeah, I mean, I would be up in my bed, and the bed was like, it was like one of those college beds, so it was like a little higher than like usual bed height.
Mm-hmm. A bunk bed?
It
It
wasn't.
was a single, but
It was a single, but it was like raised. I had it like
lofted.
raised all the way to the
Lofted.
top, so I could put a little
Terms
fridge
going for
under it, you know,
Uh-huh.
for all my
Okay.
sunny D's.
Get to the story.
And I felt like there were these things in the room that were like a little shorter than the bed, and that they were behind me, because the way my room was set up is the bed was on the side, almost in the middle of the room, against the wall.
Didn't your freshman dorm have
It's called
children?
a residence hall.
Children living in there, though?
No.
What if they
This
just,
is
like-
sophomore year.
Oh,
Sophomore
okay.
year, I was in my own room.
Oh.
No children.
Oh. That's different then. Okay, that was it. They just said they came in to the room.
Yeah.
What do they look like?
What did they look like?
Yeah.
No. It was a feeling of them.
Oh, that
Like,
is-
I knew for a fact that there were, like, here's what happened. I woke up at like 6 a.m. to get ready for class. That was like 7 to like 8:15 or 8:30 or something. And so then I'm tired. After class, I go back to bed. Like 8:15,
That'll
I'm
do
like,
it.
I'm going to take a nap,
Yeah,
which is an awful time to nap.
that's just begging for this experience.
Oh yeah, you're like, please
Yeah,
give
that's
me
when it's gonna
give me
happen.
all the
See your
phenomenal.
regular sleep patterns.
So I'm like going to bed, and I fall asleep easy, and then I just wake up, and again I'm on my back obviously, but then I'm like, oh, and I can feel like my chest, like I'm like trying to lift my legs, and like I can't lift my legs, and I'm like kicking, and I can't, and I'm like going like this, and I'm like not moving at all. I can like feel myself vibrating.
Oof.
And I get this feeling of like I feel like it's evil because my fear response is like kicked up a million notches, but it felt like there were like a bunch of them in there.
Yep.
And my bed was like kind of in the corner to the side, so there was like a lot of room behind me, and I felt like that they were all behind me watching me.
That's pretty scary.
You know that feeling you get when something's watching you?
Yeah, I do.
It felt like I was in like a whole room full of them.
That's a lot. I don't think you've ever told me that one before.
I never told you that?
No. My experience with the little praying mantis thing was very different than all this, though, which again, why I'm like, I don't think I can call it a sleep paralysis episode, but like maybe mine there's definitely that hypnagogic. I had like woken up and was falling back asleep, and sometimes I have this thing where it feels like my eyes are opened and I'm looking around the room, but my eyes aren't actually open yet. But it looks just like the room, and I'll even like open my eyes. I'm like, nope, they weren't open. I'll close them and I'll go back to that state. And I'm like, yeah, I'm looking at my bedroom right now. So it's like one of those things. It's been happening a lot more lately, and my actual eyes are closed, but again, feels like they're open. I'm looking at the room, and I pick my hand up, and it's not my hand. And again, I'm not fully asleep, but basically, I was the mantis.
Which is also what
Wasn't
people
scary. I was
report
like, hey,
in mantis encounters.
really? They report being the mantis themselves?
Yeah. So what I was trying
I
to
didn't know that.
say is, there's this
Oh,
guy.
what? Get to it. What are you doing, man?
She's so funny, everybody. Oh my god.
Oh, if you're laughing, let us know.
There's this. I mean, okay, not fully vetted. So I don't like. I didn't get a degree in this guy, but
Jack's here. Come in,
there's
Jack.
this guy from the UK called Simon Parks, I believe. Parks is spelled Parkes. And so there's actually this pretty good YouTube video, which again is not super scholarly or anything. It's just kind of like clipped. It's like clips of him being interviewed by like multiple people. There's like a news agency interviewing him, and then like a woman who talks about like past lives and interviews, and so it's called The Mantid Experiences of Simon Parkes, but in this he talks about,
Should watch it.
yeah, it's like an hour long, maybe a little under that, and they show you like all the illustrations and stuff that he's created, but he
They look
has
like grays to me.
he's referred to this mantid being as a motherly figure. He calls it like his mum.
Oh, interesting.
M-U-M. I don't know. Maybe it might be a British thing. Not sure. But
Mom, probably.
he has described that he's given this mantis being permission to go and like see them and like hang out or whatever. He's like given, pretty much he said the mantis telepathically asked him if he'd want to like proceed. And he said yes. And it was like a telepathic communication.
Huh.
And I believe it was in a dream. It was like he was like in this transition state. And then he's like, well, you say yes and you give him an inch, they'll like run a mile. I can hear Jack screaming.
Yeah,
in
Jack,
the
come here.
background.
Come on. What do you want to say?
Experience for him. And they come, I think he said monthly.
Jack just wants some kisses real quick.
He does. What we're talking about.
I just got attacked.
So he has this mantis being that he said yes to once, and it like opened the door.
Okay.
The mantis like brings him up into the ship. He sees like he's talking about how there's like all these different types of aliens up there, and like hard to say, hard to categorize them really.
Right.
But he pretty much just says that they've allowed him to see their perspective several times.
Oh.
Saying he gets like a point of view experience from that. Like the mantis is like, hey, do you want to see what it's like to be us? And he's like, yeah. And then he's like, holy shit. Like, so this is actually pretty good if you want to check this out. Because
that's actually...
you're like, Rob doesn't do any research.
That's pretty good research.
Yeah, it
I gotta
is
give it
pretty
to you.
good research. But, you know.
That's funny because I did try to research if there's anyone had an experience like that and I did not find
It's a
that.
fairly new video. February 20th of this year, 2025. But
But like when did that particular experience happen for him? I'm just curious.
I believe he started his experiences in the 70s, early
wow.
70s, when he
Okay,
was
so it's been a long
11.
time.
So he's born in 60. I think he's still alive.
Okay, and it's been multiple times that he's been able to see their perspective.
Yeah, he said 2 or 3 times, but they visit him like once a month, he said.
Okay, so this is something that I just want to say is interesting to me because when you have people having similar experiences, a lot of people want to say, oh yeah, because you must have heard about it before. I have never heard this before. I've never heard anyone else talk about, oh yeah, I was inside a mantis being's body. I had that experience. I'm like, oh, that's weird. I'm like, dream? I don't know what to do with that. Dream, I guess. Put it in the little dream make-believe box. I don't know. But that's weird to me that someone else has had that similar experience.
And the thing is, too, because like...
And they've had been fully awake and had experiences of mantis too, or just that, like...
I believe it was like a transitional state is what he said.
Okay.
But it's
That's
really...
interesting.
It is really interesting. And I was
You know
also
what it
looking...
also reminds me of? Tangent coming. The DMT studies.
Well, that's what also they were talking about. DMT and ayahuasca.
Yeah.
They said that the beings are coming more and more naturally to and more frequently to people.
The same beings, just want to say.
Yeah.
Because people say, oh yeah, it's hallucination. I'm like, okay, why are we having the same hallucinations? And they say, oh, because this stuff is like in our media. It's in the lore. So you've heard about it before. So your brain creates these images. I think you could maybe use that when it comes to the grays, but mantis beings, I've never seen any like modern... I never knew about mantis beings until long after I started looking into this stuff and researching it. Which I only started researching this stuff after I had precognition, and I was like, "What is going on?"
I didn't
and
know
then
anything
found out
about
there's
this
this
stuff.
whole other world related to all of this stuff. I was just looking into dreams for, hey, my dreams keep coming true. Why? This is freaking me out, and my friends and my whole family. Why do I have dreams coming true? Open up a big ol' can of worms with all of this, but I had no previous knowledge about mantis beings or giant praying mantis looking aliens. That's not a thing I ever knew.
And the other thing I want to say about what you're saying and also what Simon Parkes is saying as well is that they're really, when I looked at it like a timeline of all the different like mantis encounters, There's really not a lot of ones that are before like the 90s.
Well, because that's something else we wanted to talk about. And this is why we're talking about the Hopi and the ant people, and along with the mantis beings, because really what we're just talking about is insectoids, which is a human insect-like creature that has characteristics of both insects and humans. What one person might call an ant, another person might be like, no, it looked like a praying mantis to me. But the point is, it doesn't look like either an ant or a praying mantis. It looks like some weird combination. So what one person calls an ant, another person could call a praying mantis, and they're talking about the same thing. They just have two different names for it.
Right.
And this is the thing, too, because we feel like we can't talk about a lot of these experiences. Oh, it's a dream state. That was just sleep paralysis. That's not real. I don't get to talk about it as being anything beyond just, oh, I had a funny little dream last night. You know what I mean? Like, I'm kind of forced to self-redact and like minimize that down because no one in my society would take it seriously.
Well, why the hell would you
even
talk
if I
about
just
that?
want to understand what that dream might mean to me, say it is all just make-believe and not real. Okay, fine, but what does that mean? Why would I have that dream? But what if I do think, hey, maybe science doesn't know everything. Maybe my Western materialistic world view can't hold this, and I want to know more, and I want to know, hey, is it possible this means more? Mm-hmm. Is it possible these creatures are real somehow, that there is such a thing as dream beings, spirit beings? I want to know about that stuff.
It's possible. I feel like in Vegas a couple years back when that family all like got freaked out and like whipped out their guns because they thought they saw like an 8-foot whatever over their property. Because they had like, I think they had like tractors or something, or some kind of like heavy equipment or machinery, like construction equipment. And the thing was like taller than it. It was like trying to hide behind it.
Yeah.
I feel like that was probably a mantid being or something
I have
similar.
no idea.
I mean, I have no idea.
You just think that.
It could be a giraffe, I mean, for all we know. And then it just like
a giraffe
got out of there.
I think that would be, okay, so you've heard of, was that Occam's razor? Is that Occam? Wait, I need to know this.
While you go on that tangent, what I'm trying to say is that there were cameras set up.
Yeah, Occam's razor, Occam.
There were cameras set up there by, I don't know if it was the government or whatever, but pretty much the family couldn't say anything about it, and then they were heavily surveilled.
What he's referring to is there was I think it's an ex-police officer turned investigative journalist, went out and investigated the story more because he saw, and he's kind of the reason why it went viral, because he lives in Vegas, again, ex-cop, and I wish I remember his name. I bet we can look it up. So he used to be a police officer, and so now I think he has like a blog or he tweets, but he listens to the police scanners and he'll report on what he hears, and because he knows a little bit more about it, if he hears something interesting, he knows how to tell if something's odd or out of the ordinary. He'll go and investigate it and then see what he can find. So when he did this, when he heard the police report come in, he noticed that there was some inconsistencies with the way the police responded to this call in Vegas. And he was like, that's weird. Why? They didn't follow protocol, basically, and he wanted to know why. He felt like, something's off here, so let's look into it. And
Scott Roeder is his name.
Scott Roeder. Okay, yeah. And that's when he went and spoke to the family, and they were like, ooh, like there's cameras up. And he saw the cameras being installed, I'm pretty sure, if I'm remembering that correctly. And the family reported that there were like blacked out cars that came up, and these men came and talked to them, like Men in Black. There we go. We tied it back. And that they basically were, they weren't allowed to talk to any media or press, and it's gone silent. So was I about right?
Yeah, I mean, that was about right. So pretty much that guy, Scott Roeder, is saying like, yeah, that was a legit video and it's original. He's like analyzed it like. Oh,
that's not the ex-cop. That's someone who did analysis on the video, just saying that the video wasn't fake.
Oh, this is a veteran crime scene recreation expert who analyzed
that's a different person. That's not the person who originally reported it.
Leave it to me. Well, and so this Scott Roeder guy, though, also said that he initially missed this, but there's two beings in the video at the same time. Did you know that?
There's what? Oh, two? Yeah, I did know that, yeah. I didn't see what everyone was talking about. I tried watching that video and I couldn't.
They said, we don't believe it's a floating head. We think it's actually attached to a body. And the motion of that head from the right to left is consistent with the motion that they see between the slats of the fence.
Now all I can see is Scott Roeder. I wish I could remember who.
I thought it was him, no?
I don't think it was the same guy.
I don't know, but this was like one of the most real things I saw.
Oh wait, Doug Papa, I think.
What'd you call me?
Doug. Yeah, a podcaster and ex-cop said he believes the family are somewhat credible.
That's the guy. That's the guy.
That's who it is.
Cut out the part where we didn't know his name because it's super embarrassing.
That's him. Okay. I just wanted to get back to what I mentioned with Occam's razor. It's the AI definition, also known as the principle of parsimony, a problem-solving guideline that suggests the simplest explanation is usually the best. It essentially advises that when faced with multiple possible explanations for a phenomenon, the one that requires the fewest assumptions or the fewest complex elements should be preferred. Okay, so this is cited a lot when talking about weird sightings like, oh, Occam's razor, it's probably just a meteorite, or it was probably nothing, or they're probably making it up, or they're probably grifters, or like you just threw out a random thing like, oh, for all we know, it was a giraffe. Okay. I think it's funny. This comes up a lot with telepathy too, where in certain cases, like Occam's razor, people think that they are going with the most logical, simplest explanation, but that doesn't apply really well. Occam's razor does not apply well in this particular topic when it comes to these experiences and the topic of UFOs, UAP, extraterrestrials. Because in some cases, the simplest explanation would be aliens. When you really apply it and think about how many other planets there are, how many universes there are, galaxies, it's massive.
It is.
That the thought that we might be the only ones is kind of stupid. No, it's really stupid, actually. And if you truly think that there's no aliens out there, I really beg you to take a moment and spend some time in critical thought.
I mean, if they watch this far, they're definitely believing something. So
probably will.
I'm going to rattle off some notable encounters before we go.
Go for it.
So, 1963, we got Covina, California, Southern California, right next to LA. We got Linda Porter. She recounted walking aboard a spacecraft guided by a small gray alien into a room where a towering mantis-like being awaited. She reported multiple encounters with these beings throughout her life. So, that one is one of the earliest ones. Then we go into Simon Parks, who in like the 70s, 80s, 90s have had these encounters in the UK.
He's had repeat encounters.
We also have Kim Carlsberg as well. I think we've seen her.
She sounds familiar. She's probably at Contact.
She was at Contact in the desert, I believe. And I
believe
she's in Southern California as well. Could be wrong.
Oh, yeah, because she talks about the hybridization program.
Yep.
Being abducted, and that's...
This is in the late 80s, early 90s, so she was under hypnosis and recalled being on a table surrounded by, like, stick bug creatures.
Yeah.
And they had, like, extremely large eyes, and they did, like, invasive procedures, inserting tubes and examining her organs. She was pretty traumatized still, even to talk about it.
There's a lot of people that have experiences like that, and it's really traumatizing. And that's why I say, like, I understand being skeptical. I'm not saying to not be skeptical, but be respectful.
Mm-hmm.
Because people are legitimately traumatized by these experiences, and to try to reduce it down and say, oh, you're just unwell. That's not good enough. Not good enough. Take people seriously, figure out what's going on. Investigate it, and don't just assume, oh, they're just crazy, let's medicate them.
So I got another one in San Antonio, 96. Witness described brown mantis-like being with large black eyes. Entity communicated telepathically, reviewing the witness's life memories. Other beings, including a tall silver figure and a shorter troll-like creature, were also observed during the experience. It's pretty weird.
Yeah.
So it seems like these things are like leading a pack of different creatures.
Get into any of the encounters where people are healed by the mantis?
I haven't found any of that. I mean,
okay.
I had another one in Santa Fe. This is kind of one of the last ones.
Okay.
This was in the early 2000s. 12-year-old awoke paralyzed in his hallway, confronted by a mantis-headed figure with a black cloak. The being had 3 or 4 fingers, like you were saying, and induced a deeper state of paralysis upon eye contact. So that's pretty much all.
We also need to do an episode on telepathy, because that one is wild. We'll get into that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now we're at the point where could you?
Well, I just want to say that there's more research I have on this. I mean, and some of it is listening to other podcasters, but I've heard a lot of accounts where people had their mantis experience. Mantis, I don't know, whichever way you like to say it. And they saw the mantis healing them, and then they were actually truly healed in real life. Like they had whatever their experience was. Maybe they went to sleep that night and they had cancer. They had that experience where they had interaction with a mantis and they were healed, and then they went back to the doctors and they were in fact healed.
That's pretty wild.
There's actually a lot of accounts saying that. Oh yeah, I only have 10% battery. So that's pretty interesting. Again, what do you do with that? And again, there's so many accounts this way where people are able to like prove like, no, I had this experience and then this happened. So there's definitely more going on, and that's why I'm like, I'm not ruling anything out, and I'm also not willing to rule out that mine was just a dream either. I don't know. We don't know. We don't know what any of this stuff is, and we need to research more. But there's also, again, we're going to have to do an episode about how we experience things similarly but also differently, and like basically the way the brain processes information, because I think that there's something to, and like I think about this stuff a lot because of synesthesia, and just I experience the world a little bit differently than people that don't have synesthesia. And even in general, there's just different ways the way we perceive, like perception is such a wild thing. And if you've never thought about it, I invite you to actually sit down and think about this for a second. How do you know the world that you see is the same world that everyone else is seeing?
I was just asking you the other day. I was like, hey, does our neighborhood look like like how I see it, or do you think it looks different? And you're like, I don't know, man.
We don't know. Well, that's the thing, though. And then how we feel about things also can affect the way we perceive them. And it's not just visual. So we like to think, oh, what you see is what you get. Like, that's reality. It's based on what you see. But that is not the case.
Not the case.
It's not. What you're seeing is an interpretation that your brain. So your eyes are like meters that are reading light, which is vibration. So your eyes are sensory organs that are reading light vibrations that your brain is interpreting and converting into images. So we don't see the world as it is. It's based off of our particular, photons in our eyes? How many photons we have? And there's colors that exist that other creatures we know they can see because they have more, but I can't see. Right? So we're gonna have to revisit this.
We will have to. This is gonna be a full one.
Okay, but could you believe it now? Do you feel like you're more open to this than you were at the onset?
I mean, that was gonna be my question to you. I mean, yeah, I think so. I mean, you
open
were
to it,
making
though.
connections like, oh, I didn't know that they.
I didn't know someone else had a similar experience to me. I feel like I believe my own experience more now.
Yeah, well,
I think maybe I'm like, oh shit, what was that? I mean, like, I never had a moment like, what is that? Because I know people really believe these experiences. I'm like, okay.
Right.
It's more convincing to me because of my own experience. Yeah, but I'm gonna hold neutrality still. Yeah. But there's something going on.
So that was productive. Thanks for joining us.
Well, what about you? Quick. I know we're low on battery. What do you got?
Yeah, it was pretty good. I mean, there was a lot of stuff. I feel like, yeah, maybe.
Okay. Do you think I was actually in a mantis body?
We might have been. I don't know, though. It'd be crazy.
What if he just wakes up one morning and I am the mantis?
We also didn't talk about how they like click and stuff, but we'll do that. We'll do that different.
We're gonna do a part 2.
We'll do a part 2.
We're gonna do a part 2.
Why not?
Yeah.
P-Man type.
So
2.
next time, and could you believe it now?
I don't know
Mantis
if that'll
Beings,
be the next one.
Part 2. Yeah, it's part 2. We're not gonna follow up.
I want the Nessie episode out soon.
I told you need to earn Nessie. You did well, but
we'll see you later. Could you believe it now? Share with your friends.
You tell us. Could you believe it now? Let us know in the comments. Share with your grandma.
Share it with anybody.
And be a member. You get stuff. Maybe we'll add on more perks. If you want more perks, let us know.
Yep.
Give us ideas.
All right. Okay. Sounds good. See you later.
Bye.
Could you believe it now? Starring Rob.
Starring?
What do you mean? You asked me to take the lead.
But it's not a TV show.
God damn it.
ChatGPT again.
I want to talk about some notable encounters, though.
I just want to say what we're referencing with the DNA.
Experience for him, and they come, I think he said monthly.
Jack, just want some kisses real quick.
He does.
How do you explain that? It's kind of like where I'm like, I feel like this.
And
Okay.
so they're like, hey, do you want to...
Hang on, we're stuck. They're
Can I tell you a little bit about some of these encounters?
yes, tell me. But now there's, it really comes down to the... He stuck to me. Help. Thanks for the blooper, Jack. Oh my god, he's stuck again. Help me. Oh my goodness. Jack. Ow. Oh, son of a love.
So pretty much what we're...
Sorry, hang on, there's cat hair on my face. Can you get it off me? Can you see it? Look at the eye.
This eye?
Yeah.
I don't see it.
Alright, whatever, keep going.